When is willful interference to other amateur radio stations permitted? A. To stop another amateur station which is breaking the FCC rules. B. At no time. C. When making short test transmissions. D. At any time. Stations in the amateur radio service are not protected from willful interference. B. At no time. Which frequency is within the 6-meter amateur band? A. 49.00 MHz. B. 52.525 MHz. C. 28.50 MHz. D. 222.15 MHz. B. 52.525 MHz. If your license has expired and is still within the allowable grace period, may you continue to operate a transmitter on amateur radio service frequencies? A. No. Transmitting is not allowed until the FCC license database shows that the license has been renewed. B. Yes, but only if you identify using the suffix GP. C. Yes, but only during authorized nets. D. Yes, for up to 2 years. A. No. Transmitting is not allowed until the FCC license database shows that the license has been renewed. What types of amateur stations can automatically retransmit the signals of other amateur stations? A. Auxiliary, beacon, or earth stations. B. Repeater, auxiliary, or space stations. C. Beacon, repeater, or space stations. D. Earth, repeater, or space stations. B. Repeater, auxiliary, or space stations. Who does the FCC presume to be the control operator of an amateur station, unless documentation to the contrary is in the station records? A. The station custodian. B. The third-party participant. C. The person operating the station equipment. D. The station licensee. D. The station licensee. When using tactical identifiers such as race headquarters, during a community service net operation, how often must your station transmit the station's FCC assigned call sign? A. Never. The tactical call is sufficient. B. Once during every hour. C. At the end of each communication and every 10 minutes during a communication. D. At the end of every transmission. C. At the end of each communication and every 10 minutes during a communication. What is the meaning of the procedural signal CQ? A. Call on the quarter hour. B. A new antenna is being tested, no station should answer. C. Only the call station should transmit. D. Calling any station. D. Calling any station. How can you join the Digital Repeaters Talk group? A. Register your radio with the local FCC office. B. Join the Repeater Owners Club. C. Program your radio with the group SID code. D. Sign your call after the courtesy tone. C. Program your radio with the group SID code. What should be done when using voice modes to ensure that voice messages containing unusual words are received correctly? A. Send words by voice and Morse code. B. Speak very loudly into the microphone. C. Spell words using a standard phonetic alphabet. D. All of these choices are correct. C. Spell words using a standard phonetic alphabet. What term is commonly used to describe the rapid fluttering sound sometimes heard from mobile stations that are moving while transmitting? A. Flip-flopping. B. Picket fencing. C. Frequency shifting. D. Pulsing. B. Picket fencing. What is the name for the distance a radio wave travels during one complete cycle? A. Wave speed. B. Waveform. C. Wavelength. D. Wave spread. C. Wavelength. What causes tropospheric ducting? A. Discharges of lightning during electrical storms. B. Sunspots and solar flares. C. Updrafts from hurricanes and tornadoes. D. Temperature inversions in the atmosphere. D. Temperature inversions in the atmosphere. Which of the following conductors provides the lowest impedance to RF signals? A. Round stranded wire. B. Round copper-clad steel wire. C. Twisted pair cable. D. Flat strap. D. Flat strap. What is a way to enable quick access to a favorite frequency on your transceiver? A. Enable the CTCSS tones. B. Store the frequency in a memory channel. C. Disable the CTCSS tones. D. Use the scan mode to select the desired frequency. B. Store the frequency in a memory channel. Which term describes the rate at which electrical energy is used? A. Resistance. B. Current. C. Power. D. Voltage. C. Power. If a frequency display shows a reading of 2425 mHz, what frequency is that in GHz? A. 0.002425 GHz. B. 24.25 GHz. C. 2.425 GHz. D. 2425 GHz. C. 2.425 GHz. How many amperes are flowing in a circuit when the applied voltage is 12 volts DC and the load is 120 watts? A. 0.1 amperes. B. 10 amperes. C. 12 amperes. D. 132 amperes. B. 10 amperes. What formula is used to calculate current in a circuit? A. Current I equals voltage E multiplied by resistance R. B. Current I equals voltage E divided by resistance R. C. Current I equals voltage E added to resistance R. D. Current I equals voltage E minus resistance R. B. Current I equals voltage E divided by resistance R. What type of electrical component consists of two or more conductive surfaces separated by an insulator? A. Resistor. B. Potentiometer. C. Oscillator. D. Capacitor. D. Capacitor. What are the names of the two electrodes of a diode? A. Plus and minus. B. Source and drain. C. Anode and cathode. D. Gate and base. C. Anode and cathode. What do the symbols on an electrical schematic represent? A. Electrical components. B. Logic states. C. Digital codes. D. Traffic nodes. A. Electrical components. What is a relay? A. An electrically controlled switch. B. A current-controlled amplifier. C. An optical sensor. D. A pass transistor. A. An electrically controlled switch. What is meant by PTT? A. Pre-transmission tuning to reduce transmitter harmonic emission. B. Precise tone transmissions used to limit repeater access to only certain signals. C. A primary transformer tuner used to match antennas. D. The push-to-talk function that switches between receive and transmit. D. The push-to-talk function that switches between receive and transmit. What should you do if something in a neighbor's home is causing harmful interference to your amateur station? A. Work with your neighbor to identify the offending device. B. Politely inform your neighbor about the rules that prohibit the use of devices that cause interference. C. Check your station and make sure it meets the standards of good amateur practice. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct. What, in general terms, is standing wave ratio SWR? A. The measure of how well a load is matched to a transmission line. B. The ratio of high to low impedance in a feed line. C. The transmitter efficiency ratio. D. An indication of the quality of your station's ground connection. A. The measure of how well a load is matched to a transmission line. Which of the following precautions should be taken when measuring circuit resistance with an ohmmeter? A. Ensure that the applied voltages are correct. B. Ensure that the circuit is not powered. C. Ensure that the circuit is grounded. D. Ensure that the circuit is operating at the correct frequency. B. Ensure that the circuit is not powered. What is the typical bandwidth of analog fast-scan TV transmissions on the 70 cm band? A. More than 10 MHz. B. About 6 MHz. C. About 3 MHz. D. About 1 MHz. B. About 6 MHz. What is a satellite beacon? A. The primary transmit antenna on the satellite. B. An indicator light that shows where to point your antenna. C. Reflective surface on the satellite. D. A transmission from a satellite that contains status information. D. A transmission from a satellite that contains status information. What must be done before you may use the Echolink system to communicate using a repeater? A. You must complete the required Echolink training. B. You must have purchased a license to use the Echolink software. C. You must be sponsored by a current Echolink user. D. You must register your call sign and provide proof of license. D. You must register your call sign and provide proof of license. What is an ARQ transmission system? A. A special transmission format limited to video signals. B. A system used to encrypt command signals to an amateur radio satellite. C. A digital scheme whereby the receiving station detects errors and sends a request to the sending station to retransmit the information. D. Method of compressing the data in a message so more information can be sent in a shorter time. C. A digital scheme whereby the receiving station detects errors and sends a request to the sending station to retransmit the information. What is the approximate length, in inches, of a half-wavelength 6-meter dipole antenna? A. 6. B. 50. C. 112. D. 236. C. 112. Why is coaxial cable the most common feed line selected for amateur radio antenna systems? A. It is easy to use and requires few special installation considerations. B. It has less loss than any other type of feed line. C. It can handle more power than any other type of feed line. D. It is less expensive than any other type of feed line. A. It is easy to use and requires few special installation considerations. Which of the following is a safety hazard of a 12-volt storage battery? A. Touching both terminals with the hands can cause electrical shock. B. Shorting the terminals can cause burns, fire, or an explosion. C. RF emissions from the battery. D. All of these choices are correct. B. Shorting the terminals can cause burns, fire, or an explosion. What is considered to be a proper grounding method for a tower? A. A single 4-foot ground rod, driven into the ground no more than 12 inches from the base. B. A ferrite or RF choke connected between the tower and ground. C. Separate 8-foot-long ground rods for each tower leg, bonded to the tower and each other. D. A connection between the tower base and a cold water pipe. C. Separate 8-foot-long ground rods for each tower leg, bonded to the tower and each other. What factors affect the RF exposure of people near an amateur station antenna? A. Frequency and power level of the RF field. B. Distance from the antenna to a person. C. Radiation pattern of the antenna. D. All of these choices are correct. D. All of these choices are correct.